Anything.
Yeah, Mr. John, like prayer. How far now?
Very fine. How are you? How are you, everybody?
I'm fine. DJ OG. Mr. Ojo Lakpe. DJ OG.
Good afternoon.
How are you? I said,
Nice out.
how are you? Rabanjo, how are you? I'm going to meet you guys very soon. So we have just
Ade.
Sir.
I'm going to meet you guys now so that we can start our lesson.
See better teacher.
David. Mr. Ojo Lakpe, my main G.
Shut up.
See, main G.
Okay. All right. Okay. Since then, okay. Just. It's okay. So I will share this one. Okay. Hello, everybody. So let's start our lesson now. So today, I believe you can see what you have on the slide. So today we'll be looking at change in quantity demanded. We're looking at shift in demand. Also, we'll try and see what they look like using diagrams to explain. So we look at the diagram for change in demand, diagram for shift in change in quantity demanded. So basically, to go over this, to do this, we need our knowledge of demand. Demand itself means the quantity, the number of commodity the consumers, individuals are able to buy at a given price and at a particular time. That's what we mean by demand. So, what are those factors? Basically, we need those factors that affect demand. There are a few of them. This topic, we took it in our SS1, so we shouldn't have any problem with them. But so we're going to look at those factors one after the other. So we're looking at the determinants of demand. I'm going to go to the determinants of demand over now. So we have price of the commodity, which is number one. We all know the demand curve slopes downward from left to right. And this is determined by the price of the commodity. There is the law of demand, which states that the higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. The lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. So price is one of the factors that determine demand. Price is a factor, it's one of the determinants of whatever quantity an individual is going to buy or a group of people will buy of a particular commodity. Then also income of the consumer or consumers. So if the income of the consumers, if their incomes the income is high, definitely they will have a greater level of demand than those who have low income. Then price of the commodities. Price of the commodities. Now we have different two ways of looking at the price of other commodities. We have substitutes or complementary. Now, when we talk about substitutes, we're talking about goods that can be bought in place of the one that the price has gone up or gone down. Now we have substitutes in dairy industry. We have milk. We have pig milk, cowbell. We have Dano and several others like that. It means they are substitutes. You can buy any of them and still get the same satisfaction from your consumption. That's what we mean by substitutes. So price of other commodities will affect demand for certain commodities. Then we have what to call complementary items. They are complements. It means that the two of them must go hand in hand. They are bought together. When you buy a lantern, you need to buy kerosene. If you buy a car, definitely you must start buying petrol or diesel, depends on what your car is running on. Or, like we might say in our own school, if you buy toast bread, definitely you are going to buy soft drink alongside. So that is how it is. Buy biscuit, you're taking soft drink. So buy tea, you take sugar. So that is how it is with complement. That is, the goods go hand in hand. Then also, we have one of the factors or determinants of demand as being taste and fashion. When people have taste for certain items, the demand for such a commodity continues to rise. Example would be when we used to have Nokia phone. There is a phone very popular called Nokia 3310. It was in fashion for a very good period of time. But when Android was discovered, Android phones, Nokia and the rest of its products, they ran out of, yes, they became unfashionable to use. So that is why they became unfashionable. They ran out of taste of the people. So they couldn't buy, they were not buying, they had no market. So taste and fashion is also determinants of demand. Then we have expectation or speculation in increase or decrease in price. If there is an increase in the price of a commodity and people are looking at it that, okay, the price that has gone up will later come down, people are not going to buy such items. They will wait for it until the price comes down. So that is expectation or speculation. It can work in the increase of the price of the commodity and may also work in the decrease in the price of the commodity. Let's look at it if the price of the commodity has fallen, has gone down. Assuming the particular product was sold for 15 naira, but discovered that the price has gone to 40 naira. The regular thing or the normal thing would be people should go and start buying it at a reduced price. But when we talk about speculation, people are now looking at it that, okay, if the price has fallen to 40, that means it's still going to fall further. That means they will just give it time that it's going to go to 35, go to 30, go to 25, and probably 20. So instead of buying at that price, they will still wait and allow it to fall further. So expectation or speculation of the consumers will also affect demand for product. Then we have a very important factor as well, determinant, which is population or number of buyers. In a place where we have small population, demand for product will be low. Whereas in a place where we have large population, the demand for product will be high. So these are the determinants of demand. These are the factors that will affect demand. Now, this is just a revision of what we took when we were in our SS1. So we want to look at what we have for this lesson. So we are looking at difference between change in demand and change in quantity demanded. Change in demand and change in quantity demanded because of the network we might have. So we are not going to be able to use the visual support. So we'll look at it right now. Let's look at what we have here. This is what is called change in quantity demanded. What we have there, you find movement from A to B, from B to C and to D. And what is noticeable is that this is caused by change in price. Find that the price from 6 to 5 to 4 to 2. Let's look at the price side. Find out that as the price of the commodity continues to go down, there is an increase. It is followed by increase in demand. When the price of the commodity was actually 6 naira, the quantity bought was 10 naira. When the price moves to 5 naira, the quantity bought increased to 20. When the price fell further down to 4 naira, the quantity bought or demanded increased to 30. And when the price fell down further to 2 naira, the quantity demanded increased to 40 units. So what we are saying here is that the movement along the same, please note that word, the movement along the same, just one demand curve is referred to as change in quantity demanded. It's referred to as change in quantity demanded. That is why it is different from change in demand or shift in demand. Now, this is caused by price only. It is caused by price only and no other factor affecting demand. The movement along this curve from A to B, from B to C, from C to D. And please note, the movement can be either upward or downward. It could be moving from A to D, and also it could be moving from D upward to C, to B, and to A. Because we've had cases of prices of commodities going up. So as the price of the commodity goes up, the quantity demanded will fall. The quantity demanded will decrease. So we have to note that as well. So a movement along the same demand curve is called change in quantity demanded. Change in quantity demanded. And it is caused by just a factor affecting demand or one of the determinants of demand, which is change in price of the commodity only. It's caused by change in price of the commodity only and not any other thing. Change in price of the commodity only and not any other factor. So please let us note that. Now, let's go on to what we have on the next slide. Now, this is a different curve to what we have in the other slide. Now we have a movement of the demand curve, change or what we call shift in demand. Now please notice that we have a demand curve initially at a particular price, but something happens and there is a shift in demand curve outward. but the price remains the same. There is a fixed price at this place. Now we have the demand curve moving from DODO, please observe that, to D1, D1. Now, change in demand occurs when at the same price, different quantities of goods are bought. Still the same price. Still the same price. Now I'm going to give us an example. Now you find out that in the hot sun, when the sun is really scorching, despite the price of Pepsi, price of Coca-Cola, or the price of a cup of ice cream remaining the same, a lot of people buy because of the condition of the day. Without the price changing, there is an increase in demand. Same thing will happen if people suddenly have increase in their income. Without the price falling, people suddenly find reasons to buy more of a certain commodity because they have increase in their income without the price of the commodity changing anyway. So what happens is that shift in demand will be caused by other factors affecting demand apart from the price of the commodity. Shift in demand will be caused by other factors, will be caused by other determinants of demand apart from the price of the commodity. Now, the previous diagram that we looked at, we had just one demand curve indicating a movement from A to B to C to D. That is actually caused by price of that commodity. But wherever you see a shift in demand, it could be an outward movement or an inward movement. We are going to look at the two now. All right. Now, what you have in this place, diagram before you, we have what to call a shift in demand. Either you are moving it outward or it is coming back inward. What happens is that we are going to take one of these are the factors or determinants one after the other. Now let's consider increase in income of the consumers. Now the income of the consumer has increased. It means that he has or she has more to spend. Despite the price of the commodity remaining the same, he or she wants to buy more. And also we have to note of a normal good. The good is counted, is regarded as a normal good. Now, let's go on. Now, we are still talking about income. How about the income of the consumer falls? Probably he's not able to do the business that he was doing before, or there is a fall in the number of people buying from him. His income has fallen. Even the same item that he used to buy, probably 20 units, he has to reduce the number of items he's buying because of the fall in his income. Now, this can be a general thing to the whole populace, assuming, just like the government is talking about value-added tax, this is going to take some part of the consumer's income or the personal income as well. Right, this is going to take some of the consumer's income. When this happens, it means that the consumers have less to spend. Now let's look at let's look at taste and fashion as well, which we discussed earlier. Now we talked about Nokia at that time. There was a time it was fashionable to have a Nokia phone. Despite the price of Nokia phones not increasing, or anything happening to them, people discovered that it wasn't fashionable, it wasn't trending again, like the language used now, to have a Nokia phone. So the demand for Nokia phones fell. And also there is what you call speculation. So all these, they will cause, if it is a negative effect, it will bring about an inward shift in the demand curve. That is, we look at the demand curve on the left of your screen. On the left of your screen, that is, there is a movement inward. There is an inward movement, or in some cases referred to as a backward shift, indicating a decrease in demand. Now, from our diagram, this is from Q1 to QO. Q1 to QO. That is a backward shift. That is, there is a fall or reduction in the quantity demanded, in quantity, but despite the price of the commodity remaining the same. There is a fall in the quantity demanded, despite the price of the commodity remaining the same. Now, if you consider the diagram on the right of your screen, you find that there is an outward shift in demand. That is, there is an increase in demand despite the price of the commodity remaining the same. There is an increase in demand despite the price of the commodity remaining the same. Now, please don't forget those factors. All right, this is what we are meant to do anyway, but the way it is, it's just all right. All right. Okay. Thank you. All right, please. This is supposed to be a class activity. However, I will ask you just to take it down now. Take this down, and we'll find a way to submit it so that we'll go to what we have next. Let's quickly take this down, please. All right. With the aid of an appropriate diagram, represent the effect of an increase in income of a consumer on demand, all things being equal. That is what we are expected to do, is that if there is a sudden increase in the income of a consumer, what is going to be the effect on demand? And you are going to do that with the aid of the diagram or diagrams, as you might find appropriate. Just let us take that. I hope you have all taken this. So we move to what we have next. Now, this is what you are likely to find in the exam. This kind of question you are likely to find. A movement from point A to C is caused by, now I will expect you to type your answers and send it now. Please type your answers and send it. So pick your answer. You have taste and fashion, A. B, price of the item. C, population of the consumers. D, abnormal demand. Please let me see the option that you have picked. I'm waiting for your options, please. Okay, I'll go back to the, all right, we have B. A. I've only seen 2 so far. A. All right. Okay. That's nice. Okay, someone actually went for C. Okay, Fatima Show, you're putting the answer there. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, let's look at it together. Let's see why those answers will be correct and why they might be wrong. Now let's take it one after the other. A movement from point A to C is caused by, now we have said movement from point A to C. Now you have to ask yourself this question. Is this a movement along the same demand curve or a shift in demand curve? This will help you to answer the question. Now, from my own observation, from what every one of us can see, it is simply a movement along the same demand curve. Now, I'm not going to answer this question directly now. Let me just take you back to one of the things that we have looked at today. All right, change in quantity demanded. Change in quantity demanded. What we find is that change in quantity demanded signifies movement along a single demand curve, either upward or downward. Change in quantity demanded or movement along the same demand curve is caused by the change in price of the commodity only. Please note, change in price of the commodity only. Now, with this at the back of our mind, let us check if we actually got the answer correctly. So now we can ask the question one more time. All right, now we are going to answer it now. A movement from point A to C is caused by, all right, the answer here is B, price of the item. Price of the item. Please, if you picked from the other side, that's actually a different question. So I expect you to pick price of the item. Taste and fashion will not cause a movement on the same demand curve. Population of the consumers will not cause a movement on the same demand curve. And also now an abnormal situation will not bring about this movement. This is a certified or confirmed law of demand. The higher the price, the lower the quantity demanded. The lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. So the correct option to this is price of the commodity or option B. All right. So I see so many of us got that answer. Option B, that's very correct. So I hope we have all learned that now. So if you picked a different option, you also know better now. So now let's look at the second question, which is 1B. Now, which of the following will lead to an entirely new demand curve? Please, I want to see your answers now. Which of the following will lead to an entirely new demand curve? Please, I want to see your answers now. Okay, can see that coming in. All right. I'm waiting now. All right. I answer you. Okay. Okay, let me see what you have now. Okay. Can you, Mr. Can you? Okay, I've done it. All right. Now, from what we have here, I have option A and option B. Option A and option B. Some people went for option A, while some went for option B. All right. Now, option A is price of the commodity. Option B is price of close substitutes. Option C is positive change in taste. Option D is negative change in taste. All right. We are looking at which of the following will lead to an entirely new demand curve. Which of the following will lead to an entirely new demand curve? All right. Now, okay, no problem. I will do that. I'll do that. We'll explain it again. Don't worry. We'll find time to explain it when we get back to school. Don't worry. I promise we'll do that. All right. Now, let's go on. Now, let's look at our diagram. Okay, even we can look at the determinants of demand. Let's look at the determinants of demand again. That's what I'm going to look at now. Please just hold on a minute so that I'll go through that now. Okay. We said price of the commodity will only cause a movement along the demand curve. Price of the commodity will only cause a movement along the demand curve. Whereas other factors, income of the consumers, price of other commodities, be it substitute or complementary, taste and fashion, expectation or speculation of increase or decrease in price, population or number of buyers, and probably many more, will lead to a new demand curve. So that means the answer is going to be any of the listed from 2 to 6, but it can never be price of the commodity. Price of the commodity will only lead to what we call movement along the demand curve, which you have here and which you can see. That's what price of the commodity will cost. But the question is asking us, which of the following will lead to an entirely new demand curve? So option A is not correct. Option A is not correct. Option B, yes. That is the correct option. Now, if, yes, we have B, so many of us picked B anyway. So if you picked A, that means you have not picked the correct option. Please let us note that. If you picked A, that means you have not picked the correct option. So let us go on. Please, definitely we'll find time to go over this in our mainly revision. We'll find time to review this topic. Now, we have what you call exceptional demand curve, also which is referred to as an abnormal demand curve. Now, the word exceptional or abnormal, it's a kind of a deviation. That means the demand curve does not follow the regular law of demand. There is a specific law of demand, which we all know. The law of demand states that the higher the price of a commodity, the lower the quantity demanded of that commodity. The lower the price of a commodity, the higher the price of the commodity. Sorry, the higher the quantity demanded of the commodity. It means price and quantity demanded have what we call inverse relationship. It means when price is going up, quantity demanded is coming down. When price is coming down, quantity demanded is going up. This is the regular law of demand. So we're not saying there's something called exceptional demand curve or abnormal demand curve. It means these demand curve or demand curves do not follow the regular law of demand. So let's look at what it means. Exceptional demand curve refers to forms of demand curve that do not obey the normal law of demand, normal demand curve, which slopes from left to right. The regular demand curve is expected to slope from left to right, sloping downward from left to right. But in this case, we have something that is different. This is just an example. We may have it in several ways. This is just an example. We have this demand curve sloping from right to left. It is an abnormal demand curve. It means that in this case, the higher the price, the higher the quantity demanded. Now, this may happen. So, we want to look at what are those factors? What might cause an exceptional demand curve? What are the likely reasons for exceptional demand curve? All right. So, we want to look at those factors. So, we have number one, ostentatious goods. Those are the goods that are used to show off. They are referred to as, in some cases, luxury items. So, luxury items are those items that people use to put themselves in a kind of class. You know what people are, especially on this side of the world. They want to show that, okay, I'm a classy person. So what others are using, they don't want to use them. So when a particular item has increased in price, they feel that is the time to acquire more of that item, or that is the time to let people know that I can afford it. So they go ahead and get more of such items. So they are referred to as ostentatious goods, goods that are used to show off their luxury items. So we have probably, my example might be, let me use probably a BMW, maybe probably the latest BMW or a G-Wagon. You know, the price is so much, but people will still want to buy it, to acquire it, because they feel that distinguishes them from other kind of people. So ostentatious goods will bring about an abnormal demand situation, will bring about an abnormal demand curve. Then we have goods that are referred to as inferior goods. Inferior goods. What happens with inferior goods is that they are different from normal goods in the sense that when people start making more money, or when the price of such item begins to fall, people start distinguishing themselves. They don't want people to see them consuming such item because it makes them to look inferior as well. Some people may choose not to take Gary again, as it is unclassy. They cannot be found or be seen taking such item. Some people will say they won't eat a particular brand of rice. Some people will say they won't take a particular kind of transportation. So it becomes inferior item to such an individual, such group of people. So when the price of such items are going down, instead of the demand, because the regular law of demand says that the lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. But in this case, when the prices of such items are going down, people are even distancing themselves. They are moving away from consumption of such item. So that is another exceptional demand or abnormal demand situation. Then we have speculation, which we referred to in the other time. We're looking at the factors affecting demand. Speculation is a great determinant of demand. Speculation or expectation of a future change in price. A lot of people actually went to, they started buying land in some areas in Lagos because they knew that people were going to move to such area. So because they expected, okay, when people are moving to that area, that the price of such landed property would increase. So they buy, even when the price of that commodity is going up, they start buying. When the price is going up, they continue to buy because they know it will still increase further. That is expectation, because you know the price has just started going up. Let me borrow from the current situation that we have in this country. There was a time, not quite long ago, maybe a month or 2 months back, we had the price of rice at bag of rice rather, at around 14,000, 15, 16,000. All of a sudden, the price started going up. Some people, even when the price increased from 15 to 16,000, 16,000 to 18,000, they kept on buying in large quantities because they knew or they speculated, like factor here is saying, speculated or they were expecting a further increase in price. Therefore, they went on buying more and more. So when this happens, it is an exceptional demand. It goes against the regular law of demand that when the price of the commodity goes up, people should stop buying. So speculation will lead to an abnormal demand situation. Then we have 4, which is the last one, which is rare commodities or antiques. I know many of us, probably you've been to one, or you must have seen one on TV or in the movies, where they do what is called auction. Auction, we have it as an abnormal demand situation. It is an exceptional demand situation, because what happens is that the item on auction actually goes to the highest bidder. It's not sold at a cheap price. They start at a specific price and they continue to go on and on. The price continues to go up. And despite the price going up, you still find people still wanting to buy such items. So that is, we have rare commodities and antiques fall into this category. That despite the increase in price of such commodity or the price going up, people are still moving towards buying more and more of such items. So you will go on and look for more options or more factors that will bring about an increase in demand despite of that, that will cause exceptional demand despite increase in price or despite fall in price. Now, before we leave this place, so there is an assignment for you, which you quickly take down. There is an assignment for you which you quickly take down. That is the assignment for which you quickly take down. That is to explain the difference between inferior goods and given goods. Explain the difference between inferior goods and given goods. So please, let's take this down. And if you have any question or questions, please, you may put your hand up or use the chat so that I can address. Ismail, yes, I can see your hand. Very good. So please send it on the chat. I'll be willing to answer it now. Send it on the chat. Thank you very much. Please, if you have any questions.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, go on. I can hear you.
So how are you supposed to write notes?
How?
Are you supposed to write notes?
No, please don't bother about writing the note. Just take down the assignment. Now there's a provision. This slide we made available to everyone. So we are going to send it. The assignment you will send. This is what we are going to do. The assignment that you've been given like this now. There's an email address I've provided where you are going to send the assignment. So the note also will be forwarded to you via the same email address that you use in submitting your assignment.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. All right. If you have, okay, Rakib.
Sir, is it giving or giving?
Giffen, yes, that's the spelling. G-I-F-F-E-N.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. If there is no other question, did you see any other question, please? All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Oh, David, do you have any question? Okay. Thank you very much. All right. So please take down the assignment, and an email address will be provided where you submit. Then the slide will be forwarded to you. Thank you very much, everybody. Please have a lovely day. Thank you. Kauta and Asmau and the rest. Well done.